To understand why it is so hard to move on, we have to look at the ghost in the room. When a relationship ends, the person leaves, but the space they occupied in your brain stays open. Your brain is like a house where you moved all the furniture out, but you can still see the marks on the carpet where the sofa used to be. Every time you walk into that room, you remember the old version of yourself. Many people think they are ready for someone new, but they are actually just trying to find someone to fill the hole. But you cannot put new furniture on a floor that is still broken. Today, we are going to look at why your mind freezes after a breakup, why the modern world makes it harder to heal than it was for our parents, and how to stop being a prisoner to a person who isn't even in your life anymore. I'm not here to impress the crowd. I'm here for that person that is quietly rebuilding their lives brick by brick. I'm here to break down the psychology most people ignore. If you're someone who wants to understand patterns instead of repeating them, you belong here. Subscribe if you value clarity over ego. Drop a comment and bring your perspective. Strong conversations build stronger minds. No blame, no bitterness, just awareness, discipline, and growth. We must examine the pattern of safety first. After a bad breakup, your brain changes its main goal. Its goal is no longer find love. Its goal is don't get hurt again. This is a survival instinct, like pulling your hand away from a hot stove. When you meet a new person who is actually good, your brain might actually make you feel bored or scared. Why? Because good feels dangerous to a person who is used to chaos. You have been rewired to think that if there is no drama, it isn't real. This is why so many people stay single for years. They aren't waiting for the right one. They are waiting for their brain to stop screaming danger every time someone smiles at them. Another factor is the digital stalking trap. In the old days, when you broke up, the person was gone. You didn't know what they ate for lunch or who they were dancing with on Saturday night. Today, your ex is always there on your phone. Even if you block them, you know they are just a few clicks away. This keeps your emotional wound fresh. Every time you look at their profile, you are re-injuring yourself. Psychologically, you cannot heal a cut if you keep picking at the scab. Men and women today are struggling to get back into relationships because they are still mentally married to their ex through a screen. Let's look at a story about a man named John. John was a successful guy who had a 3-year relationship end very badly. For a long time, John told his friends he was done with women. He spent all his time at work and the gym. When he finally met a woman named Sarah who was loyal, kind, and wanted to build a future, John couldn't do it. Every time Sarah showed him affection, John felt angry. He felt like she was tricking him. He started comparing Sarah to his ex every single day. The negative outcome for John was that he became a cold man. He treated Sarah like an enemy instead of a partner. He would go days without calling her just to show her he didn't need her. He thought he was being strong and alpha, but he was actually just terrified. Sarah eventually got tired of fighting for a man who wasn't there, and she left. John lost a diamond because he was too busy looking for the dirt his ex had left behind. His mistake was the punishment loop. He punished a good woman for the sins of a bad one. He learned that armor doesn't just keep people out, it keeps you trapped inside. Have you ever caught yourself being mean to someone who is actually being nice to you just because you were waiting for them to turn on you? Tell us in the comments. How do you catch yourself before you push a good person away? We also have to talk about the investment fear. Getting into a new relationship is expensive. It costs time, money, and emotions. For the modern man, the price of entry feels higher than ever. He looks at the high divorce rates and the cancel culture, and he thinks, is it worth it? For the woman, she looks at her biological clock and thinks, can I afford to spend 2 years on another man who might just leave? Both sides are playing a game of defensive dating. They are so afraid of losing that they forget how to win. They stay single because zero feels better than negative. The fourth reason is the loss of relationship skills. If you stay out of the game for too long, you forget how to play. You forget how to talk, how to listen, and how to compromise. You become a king or queen of your own small apartment. You like your bed made a certain way, you like your food at a certain time, and you like your silence. When a new person comes in, they disrupt your peace. Because we have become a society of individual comfort, we have lost the ability to merge. We would rather be right and alone than happy and together. Let's look at a story of growth. A man named Mark. Mark was single for 4 years after a divorce. He was hardened. He didn't trust anyone. But instead of just staying bitter, Mark started small-step therapy. He didn't look for a wife, he just started being social again. He joined a hiking group and a book club. He practiced talking to humans without wanting anything from them. He focused on building his character instead of his defense. The positive outcome was that Mark met a woman named Lisa. Because Mark had spent years building his own house, his mind, he didn't need Lisa to save him. When they started dating, Mark was honest. He said, "I have been hurt and I am moving slowly. I value my peace, but I am willing to share it with someone who respects it." Because he was calm and clear, Lisa felt safe. They didn't rush into a messy love. They walked into a solid partnership. Mark learned that the reason it was hard to get back in was that he was trying to jump the wall. Once he decided to build a gate instead, the right person could walk right in. The red pill truth here is that nobody is coming to save you. If you are waiting for a magic person to come and make you forget your ex, you will be waiting forever. You have to be the one to clean the house of your mind. You have to be the one to delete the photos, stop the stalking, and face the pain of being alone. Only a man who is good on his own is good for a woman, and only a woman who is happy on her own is safe for a man. As we end this first section, realize that your hardness is not a personality trait, it is a cast on a broken arm. It is there to protect you while you heal, but once the bone is strong, you have to take the cast off so you can use your arm again. If you keep the cast on forever, your muscles will waste away. Don't let your broken heart turn into a wasted life. To move forward, we have to look at the science of emotional rebuilding. Many people think that time is the only thing that heals a broken heart, but that is a mistake. Time only passes, it doesn't do the work. If you leave a dirty house for 10 years, it doesn't get clean, it just gets dustier. Getting back into a relationship is hard because you are trying to drive a new car while still looking in the rearview mirror at the old one. You have to learn how to eyes front. You have to understand the difference between being healed and just being numb. Today, we are going to look at how to rebuild your trust muscle, how to tell if a new person is a partner or just a painkiller, and how to finally close the door on the past so you can walk into your future. I don't make content for the average mindset. I make it for the ones who hold themselves accountable. If you're someone who values clarity over conflict, this channel is for you. Subscribe if you want more psychology-driven breakdowns like this. Add your thoughts in the comments. Thoughtful conversations are always welcome here. Understanding first, judgment later. A major reason why it feels so heavy to start over is the ghost of the ideal. When we are lonely, our brain does something very tricky. It forgets the bad parts of the old relationship and only remembers the good parts. We remember the one time they bought us a nice gift, but we forget the 50 times they lied to us. We turn our ex into a perfect ghost. When we meet a new person, they can't win. They are a real human being with flaws, while the ghost is perfect. This is a psychological filter. If you are looking for a perfect ghost, you will never see the good human standing right in front of you. You have to kill the ghost to see the person. Then we have to talk about the vulnerability tax. To love someone, you have to give them the power to hurt you. You have to open your chest and show them where your heart is. After a breakup, that tax feels too high. You feel like you're being asked to gamble your life savings on a game you already lost once. This is why many men and women become transactional. They start saying, "I will only be nice to you if you are nice to me first. I will only pay for dinner if I know you're staying." While this feels smart, it actually kills the spark. You cannot build a fire if you're afraid to strike the match. You have to be willing to risk a little bit to gain everything. Let's look at a story about a woman named Sarah. Sarah had been cheated on by her husband of 10 years. She decided she was ready to date again, but she had a rule. She would never let a man see her cry, and she would never tell a man her true feelings. She met a guy named Michael, who was very patient. Michael tried to get to know the real Sarah, but Sarah always kept a wall up. She thought she was being strong and independent. The negative outcome for Sarah was that Michael eventually felt unwanted. He said, "I feel like I'm dating a statue, not a woman." He left her not because she was bad, but because there was no connection. Sarah's wall didn't just keep the bad men out, it kept the love out too. She ended up back on her sofa, alone, wondering why all men are the same. Her mistake was the fortress fallacy. She thought a fortress was a home, but a fortress is just a place where you hide. She learned that if you don't show your soft side, you will never find a man who is strong enough to protect it. Have you ever felt like you were acting a part on a date instead of being yourself? Like you were wearing a mask to stay safe? Tell us in the comments, how do you decide when it is safe to take the mask off? Another pattern is the comparison audit. This is when you treat a new person like a replacement part for a machine. You look for someone who has the same hobbies or the same look as your ex, but without the bad traits. This is a mistake. People are not parts. When you try to replace an ex, you are not looking for a new person. You are looking for a new version of the old person. This is why many rebound relationships fail. They are built on comparison instead of connection. To move forward, you have to be brave enough to date someone who is different, someone who challenges you in new ways. The fourth factor is the social media mirror. We live in a world where everyone's life looks perfect on a screen. When you see your ex looking happy with someone else, or when you see your friends in perfect marriages, you feel a pressure to catch up. You rush into a new relationship because you are afraid of being left behind. This is panic dating. When you date out of panic, you ignore all the red flags. You pick the first person who says yes because you want to show the world you are winning the breakup. But a relationship built on spite or speed will always crash. Let's look at a story of growth. A man named David. David was single for 3 years after a very messy divorce. He was broken and broke. Instead of jumping onto a dating app, David did an internal renovation. He went to therapy, he fixed his finances, and he started a small business. He didn't look for a woman to save him, he saved himself. By the time he met a woman named Elena, David was full. He didn't need her for her money or her validation. The positive outcome was that David and Elena built a purpose-driven partnership. Because David was healed, he didn't look for red flags in Elena, he looked for shared values. He wasn't afraid to be vulnerable because he knew that even if it failed, he would be okay. He had already survived the worst. He didn't need the relationship, which made him powerful within it. He learned that the reason it was hard to get back in before was that he was trying to run on a broken leg. Once he let the leg heal, he could walk with confidence. The red pill truth is this: your peace is your most valuable asset. Do not give it away to anyone who doesn't earn it, but also do not let your peace turn into isolation. Being alone is a tool to help you grow, but it is not a destination. We are social animals. We are built to pair up and build things together. The modern struggle is finding a balance between protecting your assets and sharing your life. For the men, stop looking for a woman to fix your life. Fix your own life and then find a woman who is worthy of being in it. A woman is an addition to your kingdom, not the foundation of it. When you have your own kingdom, you don't fear a breakup because you still have your land and your crown. For the women, stop looking for a perfect hero. Look for a consistent man. Look for the man who shows up, tells the truth, and works hard. If you find a man who is healing his own heart, be the piece that helps him finish the job. If you show him that he is safe with you, he will build you the world. The reason it is so hard to get back into a relationship is because we have forgotten how to be patient. We want the love without the work. We want the trust without the time. But real psychology tells us that trust is built in millimeters, not miles. It is built in the small moments, answering a phone call, keeping a promise, and showing up when you say you will. As you move forward, remember this. You are not broken. You are experienced. A broken person stays on the floor. An experienced person gets up, brushes off the dirt, and says, I know where the holes are now, so I won't fall in again. That is the power of awareness. You don't get back into a relationship to find happiness. You bring happiness with you, and you find someone to share it with.